Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Monday, April the 14th, 2024. Well, this is the aftermath of Carly going over being Carly at Willow and Drew's. But before I get into that, everybody, this coming up Saturday, April the 19th at 5 p.m. Pacific time, which is 8 p.m. Central time, which is 7 p.m. Central time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be live with Comment Corner, live with Comment Corner. So if you all are free, please chime in, come in, say hello, drop your comments in there. We always have such a good time conversing with one another. And I do read the comments live. So that is this coming up Saturday, April 19th at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Central time, which is 8 p.m. Eastern time. I will see you there. Well, Nina comes out and Willow and Drew were talking, and she was like, "Could Carly be right? I just can't believe she was this nasty to me. And to think she walked me down the aisle. She really took care of me when I was sick. All the things and all of that. Now I realize she never cared for me at all. Hmm, is that so? Is that so? No. Because if it's one thing about Carly is she doesn't fake it very well whatsoever, right? But that's okay. And Drew's like, no, 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 it's not your fault. So Nina comes out and says, listen, the kids did not hear a thing. They're still happily watching their movie. I think she said Wiley and Amelia, but she may have just said the kids because you notice where's Scout? Scout is at least 9 or 10. She's not Wiley and Amelia's age. She would be doing her own thing, right? So she goes, but I did turn the volume down now that Carly is gone. So Kai came to the door and said, I'm sorry for just dropping by, Congressman Kane. Uh, but Curtis Ashford gave me your address. Is this a good time? Well, I guess Drew told him no because he goes to see Portia later. Kai does. But anyway, Nina was talking to Willow, saying Carly absolutely was out of line, saying you're worse than Nell. She goes, Nell had some issues, Willow. And Willow's like, I know. I mean, I know Nell, or I knew her, and I'm nothing like her at all. How could Carly how could Carly say at least Nell loved Michael and you didn't even love him? She goes, how could she say that, Willow? She could say about what you've done, by how you are acting. So Nina says, listen, listen, Carly is wrong. She goes, she is my twin. Now we're not identical. We don't have the same identical DNA, but maybe I am acting, I am a lot more like her than I would want to admit. And Nina says, no, you're nothing like her. You're nothing like her. Nell had some serious mental issues, Willow, and you know this. She says, it pains me to say it. She goes, you are nothing like her, you know? And so anyway, she's saying, but that being said, you still need to make peace, compromise with Michael's family, and that's Carly. Because see, Nina said, you move in here, right? And you're going to get the, and Willow, no, I know what I'm doing. No, I'm going to do what I want. So she goes, so still, honey, listen to me. It'll go a long way with a judge. If you still, Carly was definitely in the wrong, but we're bigger than her. You're bigger than that, right? Well, And then all of a sudden you hear, Nina, it's been a long day. It's time for you to go. And she stops mid sentence and she looks at Willow, and Willow said, we do have to unpack still quite a few boxes. She goes, okay, I'll leave if that's what you want. I'll leave. So she kind of walks around Willow and she just doesn't even make eye contact with Drew, but you could see it on her face. She's like, mm-hmm, it's all you. So she walks out, and then it just shows her like shaking her head and then heading off. I think she's going to go try to find Carly, Nina. I think that's what she's going to do. So Drew, of course, now here's the brainwashing. But he goes, no, no, don't listen to Nina. Mm-mm. Carly was actually, he told Nina, no. As a matter of fact, I think I should get a restraining order against Carly. And Nina says, that's extreme and that will make things worse. She says, Willow, I mean, honey, don't go along with this, right? Don't. And so I think that's when Kai came and Nina kept trying to talk to Willow. And then Drew came back and said what he said, right? So now that she's gone, Willow's like, should I? Should I? Because I don't feel we've done nothing wrong. Nothing. The kids adore you. There's nothing. I've done nothing wrong. We've done nothing. He goes, no, of course we haven't. He says, but we're going to, we need to protect Wiley and Amelia and even Scout. He goes, so look, I had these drawn up a while ago. When he said that, I thought, for one thing, what's a while ago? Because she just agreed to move in a week ago, and you're just moving in now. This son of a gun, Drew, had paperwork drawn up that on Willow's behalf and his behalf, that if anything happens to Willow, Dan, Amelia and Wiley, Drew will become their legal guardian. He goes, this way, Carly can't get her hands on them if God forbid something happened to you. And if something happened to me, you are Scout's legal guardian. So he goes, and look at the way he's got his hands, kind of the way they are, like sinister looking, down at his waist, like, she gonna fall for it. She gonna do it. He said, this will protect our kids from everyone. And I said, yeah, that's what Sam thought too, right? Because in her will, she left Scout and Danny to Drew. And Danny's father said, are you out your mind? That ain't happening. Because, see, if it's one thing, a mother cannot terminate the rights of a father. I don't care what you put in any kind of legal guardianship, nothing. If the father is in the picture or the child's biological mother is in the picture, they have rights. This paper, he's like, Carly can't. Okay. So then if you're drawing up these papers, why the heck do the kids not go to Nina? Why would Willow not have it in some kind of legal form that she will want her children in the event of her death to go to her mother? Biological blood, right? Why would you do it to your current boyfriend you're shacking up with? See, this is exactly why they say Willow doesn't have her children's best interests at heart at all. At all, not in the least, right? And he goes, I hope I haven't overstepped. No, 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 no. You're right. You're right. No, we need to protect our children. We do. So then she gets a pen and I'm going to sign this right now. Now, are you sure? See, then it's back to, oh, are you, but wait. And so she could go, no, no, I'm doing this. Michael will have a fit as he should, as he 100% should. Michael is not doggone brain dead. He's healing physically. Yes, mentally too, wrapping yourself around what happened, but he needs to know I do not agree with them keeping him in the dark, right? So she signs the paperwork. Now Carly goes to Brennan's room and she's saying, I think I may have made things worse. And she tells him everything that happens. He goes, no, you haven't. In my opinion. See, now I don't know if Jack's advice is good as not or not, but if it's one thing, Jack is a strategist. He really is. He plays chess while Carly's playing checkers. Moves and counter moves to have this greater outcome, right? So he told her, no, you drew a line in the sand. She goes, he says, have you ever had to fight for your children before in the past? She goes, yeah. He goes, have you won? She said, yeah. And I thought, well, Sonny's won a number of times, you know, and then you won, you know, Jax tried to take Jocelyn and did for a while. And then Carly got her. I mean, it was always a back and forth, back and forth battles, right? So he says, no, look, what's going to happen is Drew and all of his arrogance, all of it, is going to make him overplay his hand. And Cardi says, do you think so? He goes, oh, absolutely, I think so. He says, and when because now you've got him to where he has to play the hero. And he is going to overplay his hand. And then he's going to give you the evidence you need. And in my mind, I'm thinking it's probably this paperwork that Willow is signing right now. Because Willow and Michael are not divorced. They are not. And she cannot be entering into this kind of legal stuff where you're giving away custody of your children. It's not that Michael's dead. Because at least when Sam did what she did with Danny and Scout, they thought Jason were dead this last time. Right? And Drew was a good Drew. No, 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 no. When she was with Drew, that's the time before last when Jason was presumed dead. Not this last time, because this last time she was with Dante. This was the time before. So then doesn't that negate that will, everybody? Did you see how they did that? They said in that will, they thought Jason was dead. Well, during that time when they thought Jason, they didn't know Jason was dead or they thought he was dead. However, Drew came back and it was determined that he was Jason. So then why in her will would it be that she wants the kids to go to Drew when in fact she was with Jason/Drew, and then Jason came back. So in that old will, it should have had Jason's name, not Drew's name, because she thought Drew was Jason. When they conceived Scout, she thought that was Jason she was having another baby with. Yeah, I think that's a little glitch. We they didn't timeline think that through. Because for sure this last time when Jason was, presumed dead, saving Drew, she and Drew weren't together. She was with Dante. So anyway, this once, and he's gonna have to definitely, he's gonna rub that in Nina's face. See, his ultimate goal was taking Michael's wife and taking his kids from him. But that's not gonna work. It is not gonna work at all. So we shall see if Jack is right. And I kind of think Jack is right in what he's saying right now. Drew is going to overplay his hand, and he's just done it right now. Now we have Ava. Ava's talking to Rick, and she's all smug and happy. She made the deal. That money is as good as hers. Alexis is going to definitely agree to it. And Rick says, well, and he goes, did she say she was? She goes, I gave her until 9 o'clock tomorrow to give me a decision. Now, Ava, I may have called her Alexis a minute ago. Ava didn't tell Rick that Alexis said go to the cops. Circumstantial evidence. And the video doesn't show her actually cutting those brakes. She didn't tell Rick that that Alexis said that. And Rick says, Alexis is calculating. And where I have lost to Alexis in the past was underestimating her. She says, what you have done, Ava, is you've given her 12 hours to come up with a defense. That's what you've done. And Ava's like, nope. And she told him she has his car. She did. She had it moved. And she says, and I bribed the wrecking impound guy to say that it was crushed. And so he goes, okay. So then Ava, what happens if the physical car needs to be produced as evidence? Because she told him she has it locked in one of her gallery warehouses, right? Storage rooms, storage containers. And so she goes, then I'll have it towed right back. And I thought, okay, so then what? Now how you gonna bribe somebody that's already said it's been crushed? Now all of a sudden, she goes, and I'll call the cops and tell them right where it is. Right? Anyway, that's her thinking. And so she goes, come on, Rick. If for one thing we know, Alexis does not want her precious Molly to find out about her precious Christina, what she did. And he goes, mm-hmm. He said, but Ava, Christina wants you dead. And if you let her go free like this, she's going to try to kill you again. And she said, oh no, I'm going to have my guard up. And with this kind of money that I'll be getting from Alexis, I'll be able to afford round the clock security from her lunatic daughter. And Ricky said, okay. And so he says, so are you happy now? Are you in? He goes, well, that all depends on, she goes, he goes, when I get my cut, he says, see, this is where it could get a little tricky. when it comes to money and giving up half, people get a little funny. And she goes, oh, no, no, I'm not giving up half. Alexis is going to be giving you your cut separately from me. You're getting a cut directly, multiple times. And so Rick is like, oh, he goes, so Alexis is going to have to embezzle, huh? He goes, I think that'll go down quite nice with me. So Alexis, it was Davis girls' night, right? And Alexis had forgot about it. Of course you did. You found out your other kid is an attempted murderess. She had the papers to have Christina committed in her bag. Diane called her on her way home and said, hey, you forgot to leave the signed papers. And she goes, Diane, I'm just going to look them over tonight. No, I promise. I promise. And I'm going to sign them tonight. And in the morning, I'm going to bring them to the office. So I guess Diane says, okay, right? So she walks in and there both of them are. They ordered Sam's food from Sam's favorite place. And they were talking. She was just watching Christina and Molly relating to each other like loving sisters. And Molly saying, I don't know what I would do without you two. With what I'm going through with my dad, I needed the support of my sister. And I needed the support of my mother. And Alexis is sitting there going, like, how can I now have Christina put away? And Christina says, no, I feel guilty from the things that I said to you, Molly. You know, about the baby. You notice she's not saying, here's the deal. She ain't saying Adela about the baby. She's not saying Irene either. And so Alexis is just looking at her as she says, she goes, by the way, how is your dad? How is Rick? And Alexis just looks at because this is Christina talking. She's just looking at Christina like, you are responsible for this. And Molly says, he's getting better. It's gonna take him some time, but he is going to get better. And she goes, oh, I'm happy for you, Mom. And Alexis is just looking. And I thought, Christina's actions, just the whole camouflage, the whole showing fake sympathy, even though she didn't want Rick or Alexis to die. She thought it was Ava, but still, Alexis, if she hadn't known what Christina had done, she wouldn't know. That should have been the clitcher right there with Alexis, that she needs help. She's not showing any remorse, none whatsoever. So Alexis goes over to her purse. Why? I don't know. She takes the papers out. She has a pen. She's going to sign them, but then she turns and she looks at Molly and Christina, playing about sharing a blanket, right? And Molly says, as usual, you try to take most of it. And they both are laughing, and Christina, starts to share a little bit more. And she just shakes her head, almost crumbles the papers up. And she folds it haphazardly and shoves them back in her purse with the pen. And I said, oh no, you're getting ready to go down this rabbit hole, Alexis. Alexis just cannot make the right decision. She can't. When have you ever known Alexis to make the right decision? Now, she can sure browbeat and tell Sam what her right decisions regarding Jason should be any day, all day. She sure could go to Jason and tell him how he better, break up with her daughter. And she made all them decisions every day. But when it comes to doing the right thing in her life, she can't do it. So I kind of got a little disappointed in that. After everything Diane said to her, So Laura and Sunny talk, and Sunny was a little disappointed in Laura going along with wanting to let the citizens of Port Charles choose. And Laura said, "That's the only way, Sunny, that I could truly remain neutral." And me stepping back, she's saying, this promenade or this Macaulay, whatever the thing is, I'll call it a promenade, this is for the citizens of Port Charles. So I believe the citizens of Port Charles should have a say in it. And it won't be my decision. She goes, "I hope this doesn't affect our friendship." And Sonny said, "Well, I don't agree with that decision." He says, "However, I understand why you want to make it." He goes, "Just understand this. I'm going to fight that. My attorneys are going to have a field day with that because I'm not letting my waterfront property just be seized through eminent domain." And then Rocco comes in. I guess he's got some speech, and Laura was going to help him. And Sonny ends up staying and listening to it. And both of he and Laura kind of critique Rocco, which they wasn't no real critique, um, as proud grandparents would. So when Rocco leaves, it kind of shores up the fact that they are family. And he said, "You know what, Laura?" He said, "I am not upset with your decision. This is not going to affect our relationship because if it's one thing Rocco just showed us is we are family. We are family. But I'm going to do what I feel I need to do. And I understand you're doing what you feel is best for the city, and I respect that." So they kind of hugged, did they, I think they went in for a hug. I don't know if they showed it. But, letting them know, hey, say la vie, we'll see. We'll see how this rolls, right? So let me see. We had, oh goodness, Trina. I fast forwarded her whole conversation with Portia because talk about trying to control someone else's life that you don't even really know. Trina is not his girlfriend, even, right? But I am worried about him. Even if he has this surgery, and even if it is a success, and he plays football, one wrong tackle could paralyze him. And Portia was reminding her, Trina, it's his life, though. It's his decision to make. You can't make, but he had already moved on. He had already, moved past basketball, wanted to play football. He was thinking of other possibilities. He could do so many other things with his life. And I said, see, no, there you go. That's your wish for him. Yours. Because the truth be told, any player playing football, a contact sport, can be hit the wrong way and be paralyzed. Now, Kai's risks are higher, but it's his risk to make. It truly is. And so she goes, he's not even coming to you to get your advice on it. And so she goes, Trina, honey, it's still his decision. And so Portia says something about Spencer. This is not like about Spencer or whatever. Yes, it is. Right? So Kai calls Portia, the phone rings and she looks at it and she goes, Trina, honey, I got to take this call. I need you to leave the room. And so, because Trina said, what did your research show? She goes, I can't tell you that, honey. This is information for a patient, not you. So it was Kai, and she asked Kai, can you come by the office? So Trina's gone. Kai comes by, and Portia says, he goes, I've decided I'm going to have this surgery. Dr. Dr. Ash Robinson, and blah blah blah. And he says, oh, he was going to tell Drew that he had decided to have it, but when he stopped by, it was a bad time for Congressman uh Kane, or he might still be calling him Quartermain. And he goes, but so now I have an opportunity. What did you find? And so she says, well, I'm sorry, Kai. I did do all the research, and I can't tell you that I'm gonna recommend this, that I recommend you having this surgery. And she shows him, it gives him the file, and she says, look, this is showing some of the statistics of people having this surgery, that they have patients that a number of them were left paralyzed after the surgery. And then a number of them um, made it through the surgery, but still had, other complications, but they weren't paralyzed. And so he goes, okay, but did they have any successful surgeries? And she says, they had 2 successful surgeries. And he goes, okay, then I'm going to be the third. And when she brought out the stats, she was saying, and it's in the paperwork, she didn't make the stats up. I thought, well, those odds aren't that good. Let's say 4 were paralyzed, maybe 5 others had other complications after. That's 9. And 2 were successful. So out of 11, we got 2 that the surgery was a success. I don't know. I think it's still in the formulation phase, right? I don't know if I would even attempt to say I'm gonna be number 3, right? But we'll see, because I think the difference between him and Curtis wanted to walk again. This surgery was a trial surgery too, but Curtis getting healed and rehabilitated, Curtis was not now going to go into a contact sport, right? Curtis was going to be doing normal things. So the chances for his injury being, re-injured or now paralyzed again, because he was already paralyzed, is probably slim to none, because he's not in a contact sport. Football is a contact sport. So we'll see. We already know Kai's going to do it. I'm not even interested in the Kai storyline anyway. But that's it, everybody. That is it for General Hospital. And then let's go to Comment Corner. Comment Corner. I'm gonna get 6 minutes of Comment Corner. Let me get my trusty dusty stopwatch. And here, the top down, everybody, the top down. Here we go. DM says, this is insane. Carly can't keep her own kids safe. Why is Michael in a burn ward in another country? Why is Morgan dead? Why was Michael raped in prison? Why was uh Michael almost killed as a teen? Because of Carly. But Willow is a bad mother because she moved in with Drew. This show is stupid. Well, the only thing I want to say about this comment is I could agree with you when you say Carly can't keep her kids safe because she put her kids' safety in jeopardy when she raised them around Sonny, period. That's a fact. However, Michael's a grown man, grown, has kids of his own, and was at his father's house when he got burned. Carly had nothing to do with that, not one thing. Morgan's bipolar meds, were switched out to placebos by Ava and was irrational. Sonny and Carly were working hard to try to, they couldn't figure out why Morgan wasn't stable. They were even counting his pills every day when he left. And he was swearing he was taking his pills, but they weren't making him feel the way they should. They should have said, "Look, we getting you checked up by the doctor again." But who knew some idiotic psychopath like Ava would swap out pills, right? Right? So Morgan jumped into Julian's car. That bomb was meant for Julian, not Morgan, and it was by the oldest Jerome chick, Olivia Jerome. Carly had nothing to do with that. Nothing, right? Michael being raped in prison. Now, that wasn't Dante's fault, but it was, right? Dante convinced Michael was saving his mother. He thought, well, really, Claudia was going to steal Jocelyn from Carly. And we don't even know if Olivia Jerome, I mean, not Claudia, Olivia, it's Claudia. We don't know what Claudia was truly going to do to Carly, but she was definitely taking that baby. Michael stopped her from stealing Jocelyn. Okay, if you want to say technically it was because of Carly saving his sister from being kidnapped, yeah, but it wasn't because Carly told him to do it, right? He it was Dante that convinced Michael to please, turn himself in, come in and say, because Sonny, I think, was taking the blame. And it was Dante that convinced Michael to tell the truth. And Michael got raped in prison because Franco had a grudge against Jason, right? Carly had nothing to do with that either. So Carly had nothing to do with those. So now Lin Wan says, are we having our live talk soon? Yes, yes, yes. And why you said that, see, here we go again. There we go. This Saturday, April 19th, 5 p.m. Pacific time, which is 7 p.m. Central time, which is 8 p.m. Eastern time. Live stream on YouTube, Comment Corner, Comment Corner. So I want everybody who can be there so we could talk. Now we have Lin Wan also says Drew is something else, and Willow just doesn't think for herself. How can she make all these decisions without Michael even being there? I believe that will all work in Michael's favor. Drew just thinks he can take Michael's family. Yes, he does. Absolutely, yes, he does. He can have uh, the horror Babylon Willow, but those children who would be better with Michael because Willow is not making good decisions for her children, for moving them in with a man who's Michael's uncle that she slept with wait, that she slept with now. This, I hope Michael gets his children. Christina is sitting there acting like she has done nothing to cause the car crash. She really needs help. What kind of person is she? Alexis better sign those papers. Well, guess what? We saw Alexis didn't sign them. Hopefully, she's just not gonna make the right decision. But looking at her daughter with no remorse, that was it. It's staring her in her face. I hope the people of Port Charles vote in Sonny's favor. His heart couldn't handle much more. He's going to need surgery right away. Now Carly is listening to Brennan. Hope he is right. Now Dante is investigating the car crash, and Christina is asking, why is he doing this? I didn't see that. She really feels, did I fast forward that? She really feels she shouldn't pay for what she's done. I don't care about Rick. He has always been a horrible person. Liz had nothing to do with him. To do with Christina losing her baby, and she gets hurt. Yeah, no, she needs to pay Christina. I know. See, that's when you're planning a murder. You never know what's gonna go not according to plan, and innocent people ultimately get hurt. And then we have Carly says Carly should have Jack look and find something, anything he can on Drew. If he does, he should be able to find the video of Cody and Drew's fight, um, and what they were fighting about. And Carly would be the one to expose Nina and Drew sleeping together. Heck, let Carly wreck them all. You know what? That is right. Jack could find that one video. Why are things still so suppressed? I don't get it. I just don't get it at all. And then Jacarly also said last comment, and I just had to know what is going on with Emma. So she did what she always does, break the law, and gets what she wants. So now, if anyone finds out that Anna knows, then Emma can be sued and go to jail. And it would be because of Anna. Anna chooses when to follow and break the law. Well, she used her clout as commissioner to get those sealed files, but Emma didn't tell her. And Anna got the records. At this point, Emma's just told, filled in the blanks. So my whole thing is I didn't tell her nothing. She got the files on herself, right? Abused her own office of authority. That's really what she did. So anyway, everybody, that's it. That's it. I'll be back tomorrow with another daily episode of General Daily Recap of General Hospital.